So I have uploaded no, additional material in our regular. Okay, and then remember, March 14 is our next deadline. No, this is a week before the exam week for the last performance assessment, which is about Node.js and Express.js. Okay, particularly, no, I hope next week will be our last week of classes. No, we will meet on March 8 and March 10. No, I think we still have one more topic left. No, to discuss. That's Ajax. No, because if you look at the the sample codes, no, which I have downloaded from the net, walang Ajax doon. Ajax will be useful because it will hide the URL during add and edit. Okay, so March 8 and March 10 will be our last two sessions. Okay, and then we will have our exam on this on the scheduled date. I think we are scheduled on March 26 ba? If you look at the no I look at the memo later. No, I think we are scheduled on March 26. Okay, so your performance assessment, here's the rubrics for the last one is about CRUDs to MySQL. Okay, which means you need to have you need to implement a create, read, update, delete, search. And incidentally, I have downloaded. No, fortunately, I have downloaded two files, rather two sample programs by Axime and by Radi. No, there are pros and cons. No, the Axime code is simple, is too simple, but it illustrated Ajax already. No, it has a simple Ajax. Okay, I will try to show that. No, and then the Radi code is extensive but does not have Ajax. Okay, they follow. It doesn't use any Ajax. No, and there are pros and cons. No, however, you can use the Radi code to implement the no, performance assessment for. No, which I have a few updates. No, regarding the user management. No, by Radi code. This is the CRUDs by Radi. I have updated this. I have performed updates. No, kasi I didn't like the delete. Do you follow by Radi? We are lucky that Radi implemented an express code using handlebars because Radi used to be an EJS, no, an EJS supporter. So this is one of the few codes where Radi wrote is Node Express JS with handlebars JS. So nandyan na. Before we discuss our next topic today, which is about EJS, I'd like to show you you can download this, okay? Do you follow? Do you get my point? No. Let me show you. I have shown you already the error in the in the code by Axime. Okay. Let me show you the Axime code, the Ajax in the Axime code. Okay. Any questions so far? No. Ajax. What's Ajax? Ajax is a functionality in jQuery, which allows us to send and receive data from servers. No. Okay. I think we can run this already. No. The main file is server.js. Okay. I'm not sure of the port. I think I've changed this to port 80, so it will be easy now. Node app.server.js. Okay, so I made a simple correction to the connection, to how it connected to MySQL, because it didn't do any error correction. Do you follow? It just create called an connection.connect. This automatically connects to MySQL. Okay, by the way, no, I have changed this now a little bit so that you will know that you have connected to MySQL successfully or not. Okay, so that's the main reason. Now, we can run this. I think I've run this in, okay, and then in port 8080. So therefore, we can call it without any port. Do you follow? Ito yung kay ano, there's an Ajax here. No? If you look at this, you say test. Okay, click add. Test is added, and there's no pass to the URL here. Do you follow? There's no URL parameter that is being passed. Okay, that is the effect of using Ajax. You can hide the parameter that is being sent because sometimes that can be dangerous. Okay, do you follow? And if you click this as add to favorite, look at that. No, this is going to do an update into MySQL, and you didn't see any changes in the in the in the in the URL. Okay. For example, I'll send this back to unfavorite, no, and then I'll go home, no. So it's back there, no, and you didn't see any changes in the URL. Last time, no, who was asking me about Ajax? So that's the main effect. Let's take a look at the code, no, how the Ajax is done. Now, Ajax is usually done on the client side. We have to be very careful about this now because we tend to confuse because we are doing JavaScript in both sides already, both in the front end side and on the back end side. We have two JavaScripts here. We have server.js, which is run on the back end. This is run by the server. And then in our in the public folder, okay, where we put our CSS, images and our JS, there's app.js, and don't mind this, I've just changed this now. There's app.js. Okay, do you follow? This is a client-side server script, or rather client-side JavaScript. I'm sorry, client-side JavaScript, which means that this is the normal JavaScript which runs on the client. How is that? Okay, if you look at our main layout, it calls for a JScript. Okay, here, a JScript. And a JScript, if you look at all burgers, for example, all burgers, we will render. If you look at our routes, where's our routes in? Let's look at server.js. Okay, nandito sa routes folder, in handlers.js, we are going to. I've just updated this. This is not in the actual code. So, for example, if you're going to put to call add, okay, you can insert, okay, you can insert a parameter, okay, that will call, rather not in the but in the render, okay. So dito sa render, hindi siya nag-render, it just return JSON because this is already Ajax. Do you follow? In the render, you can pass a parameter called. Anyway, we'll just change this for the moment. For the moment, we'll just change this to app.js. Okay, make this simple, because in your actual code later, you can change, the JavaScript depending on what you're adding or editing. So you can say students.js for the CRUDs for students, teachers.js for the CRUDs for teachers, and subjects.js for the CRUDs for subjects. You follow? I hope you follow. So this, why is this in the client side? It's because it's part of the script that you render in your HTML. Okay, when you do this, script src app.js, this is rendered into the client. This is not executed on the server. Okay, do you follow? This is rendered. This is, remember, the main HTML file. This is passed to the client, and then the client rather renders. The browser renders it. That's the rendering of the actual database. Shall we rather the actual HTML? Let me demonstrate that. I am running now at port 80, and to show that it's rendering uh, at port, it's rendered in the client. Okay, 192.168.19. No, do you follow? If you view the script here, no, view page source, no. So look at that, no. Nandito yung okay. Ito, nandito, no? It's here. Do you follow? The script is called here, exactly in the location that we specified in our layout file, which means that this is rendered by the client by the client browser. In which case this is rendered by Google Chrome. Do you follow? This is not rendered by the server. Any questions so far? Okay. Now let's look at the Ajax, no? Ito, no? Of the display new burger. Okay. Ito, is this a display of the new burger? There's a submit button. Okay. If you take a look at our website, there's a submit button here, which is add burger. Do you follow? So this is button type submit. Let's look at the add burger handlebars. No? So this is submit button, which is an add burger. Do you follow? Okay. So this is of type submit, no, and class btn default. So in app.js, when you say button of type submit, okay, it actually selects, no, this button in add burger. Okay, this chooses the submit button in app.js. This picks the submit button, which means that on click, what will it do? It will call event, of course, prevent default, just to prevent the browser from refreshing, no? And it will get the burger name from the input. Do you follow? Diba? With the jQuery, from the input with the name burger name. If you look at that, no, we have a text, okay, and a name called burger name. This is the input. Do you follow? This is the input with the name burger name. Okay, okay. So it will get the value, whatever is typewritten there, in which case I type test2. So therefore the value of burger name will be test2. Then it will make an Ajax call to the server. The URL is /add. And if you look at our routes, no, we have in our routes we have a route for add. Okay. Ito, we have a route for add, and it's a post route. Did you get my point? Did you follow? No, it's a post route. So therefore, in the add burgers file, rather the HTML, we did not specify a post action. Okay? Wala tayong post action in this form. Did you follow? Nor did we specify a post method, which means that it will not have a method at all. Do you follow? It will not communicate with the server. What happens is that on the submit button, it will call the onClick. Okay? The onClick function that we write in jQuery. Do you follow? And it is this function that sends the data to the server. Okay, this is an Ajax call, no? Do you follow? This is just like typing. Okay, this is just like typing a URL in the URL line. So the URL is /add. The method is post, and it will send a data called burger name, which is actually the value of the input burger name. Okay, do you follow? Remember, this is rendered on the client. Who will receive this call? Now, if the call is successful, it will display the burger. Otherwise, it will issue an error called addition of the burger failed. Okay, or a burger failed error. Now, this is the client side, the Ajax call, which calls add. Who will receive this? The handler on the server side, which is this. No? So we now have rec.body.burger name. This is a parameter which is passed by the Ajax call. And we are only able to do this, by the way, because we use a body parser. No? Kahit wala pa palang body parser, no? But later when you use rec.params, rec.body. Okay, rec.body.params, you have to use body parser. Rec.body.params, no? But this is rec.body.burger name. This is the burger name that is passed by the app.js. Ito. Do you follow? Do you get my point? No? So in our handlers.js, this is the post add, which receives the Ajax call. Okay? So, and then it will call insert one. Insert one in our model, no? In our ORM, it's called in other words, it's called model, no? In the MVC concept. Okay, so there's select insert one. It will call an insert statement into our restaurant burgers table with the past burger name. Okay, and there's a callback. This callback will call the error if the error exists. Now, if you look at that, no, so this is actually the add burger test 3. And if you click this, take note, there's no post method that is called. Do you follow? No post method is called because it is the Ajax call that that issued the post request. So ito siya ang nagano on the which is run on the on click of the submit button. Okay? Any questions? Do you follow? So that's the purpose. Now this is done. This is easy because the web page is easy. But this cannot be done by the RADI code because the RADI code is more extensive. You need to have. I'll try to edit. No, I'm actually already on the process of changing the RADI code so that instead of using URL parameters, you will make an Ajax call. No, pero medyo it's a little complicated. No, I've done it in other platforms. It's easier in other platforms, but frankly speaking, in Express, it's a little difficult. So that's why there's a new version of Express. It's called Sales.js. No, it's an extension. No, it's built on top of Express, which will allow us to make Ajax calls much easier. No, because we can make an Ajax call and then the server returns with a rendered HTML. Unlike here, we cannot return an index, a rendered HTML. No? Any questions so far? Okay, now let me look at the RADI code. No? This is the RADI code, okay? So I've used the same database, no? Which is burgers. Okay, so nilagay ko na. And you can look at the, okay, sa controllers yata niya, no, this is a controllers, no, route, where's the database? It already embedded the database in the controller, which is not for me appropriate, no, because you should separate your database in a model, no, it's called models. That's why you have models, controllers, views, no, models, views, and controllers. Okay. Admit. Okay. So anyway, he embedded the models and the controllers together in one file. Okay. So the controllers, nandito na yung connection niya. I'm using the same database, no, burgers DB, and I've created this, I've run this. Now in your assignment, in your zip file, you include this schema, no? You include a schema for me to create the creation of your database tables. Okay? Do you follow? So nandito na sa controller ang database, okay? Okay. So it will create a connection and immediately make the connection. Do you follow? I have updated this, no, so that it will be easy for you to use. Now let's run this anyway, no. App.js, and I'm running this in port 80. So it's ready for you to use, no. Node app.js. Okay. Don't be confused. App.js ito ng ibang app. This is not the client side app.js, no. This is now the server side app.js. Okay. we're lucky here because Radi made this code in handlebars. Okay, so the example is in user management. Okay, I have created a nav bar, no, like this here, no. So you have users, then you have this is a very typical, no, CRUD which has a search, for example, no, pwede ka na mag-search both by first name and last name, and if you blank that, it will search everyone. No? We'll look at the SQL how it's done. It's easy, no. And then there's an add, for example. Now the only problem with this is if you can see the parameters of the URL line because there's no AJAX call. Okay, so the user is added successfully. If you go back to that, there's already test here. Okay, you can view. I didn't change the view, no, but I changed the delete because I didn't like the original delete. Now look at the new delete. No, instead of just deleting right away, it will ask for the user. This is the correct way to do a delete. You ask for a confirmation from the user to delete the right record. Now, how is this done? I reuse the code for edit, no? Instead of submit here, I said delete. So when you click this, now it's deleted, okay? You go back to the user management, it's gone. So this is the CRUD which I'd like you to do. The only problem with this is this has no AJAX call. So for example, let me add a test user again. Makikita dito yung okay. So you look at that, no? If you submit, the ad is done very quickly, so you can see it. But if you are going to, for example, edit, no, you will see the URL parameters here. Unlike in the Axime code, you can never see any parameters because it's caught by it's called the middle tier, no? Yung the on-click event is a middle tier which is run on the client side. Middle tier because it injects itself before it calls the post request to the server. Do you follow? It's a middle tier. Ibig sabihin, before the client communicates with the server, we run a middle tier function in the middle. So it's a middle tier function that is run before the actual post request is issued to the user. Okay, so when you say test 2 here and test 3 and you submit, so you will see the URL parameters here. This is not the usual. This is okay for beginners, no, but this is dangerous. But of course, no, there's additional code required to see that only authenticated users are able to do this. But we don't have time to discuss authentication. You can look at the videos. No? Authentication and authorization. You follow. Now, if you go back, for example, and you click delete, no, so you will see the parameter here. And then you click this. Okay, so that's why you have the URL parameter seen there because there's no AJAX request. But you can use this already, no? So in my case, I have tried to come up with a code which will hide the parameters from the URL by using an AJAX call in the middle tier. Okay? Any questions so far? Any questions? So you can download the code, no? Do you follow? The actual code, the updated code, you can download this from our Dagger site. It's zipped already. Ito. So there's no reason why you can't do the final performance assessment. PA4, no? It's very easy. It's you just have to spend time, maybe half a day, no, on this. Why? Because you already have the controllers. If you have a user controller, you create a teacher controller, a subject controller, and student controller. Do you follow? So for each student controller, you remove you can have this, no? It will just repeat the connection anyway, no? It will just connect the database anyway, no? By this. And then you can have the routes, no? So you have the user routes, and you can have the teacher routes, you can have the subject routes, no? By just copying this and changing the lines there that needs to be changed. Even the controllers, no? Babaguhin mo lang. Okay? And the table, you have to change the table here, no? Do you follow? the tables. Select from user. So you select from teacher, select from student, select from subjects. Okay. So you can finish this in half a day. You spend one Saturday morning, you can finish this. Okay. And then you will have a teacher controller, you will have a teacher.js. You will have a subject controller, you have a subject.js. Okay. And then the views, you will have an add user, an add teacher, and an add subject, delete user, everything. No, you just copy them. So you just have to spend time. Anyway, you do it one by one. No, first do it on teachers, and then do it in students, and then do it on subjects. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? So handlebars, no? Handlebars yung syntax dito. Okay. And then if you look at the layout, no? The main layout contains the navigation bar, which I have downloaded from W3. You can download this anywhere. And I think in Bootstrap, no? You can download this anywhere. No? They follow. You can even create an, so blanco pa, the teachers and subjects and students are blank. But the users is already there. No? It already had the URL. No? Okay, it already had a route. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions so far? No, so you can manage, no? I expect that you can manage because there's a sample code which you can tinker yourself. Okay, and don't forget to create the schema like this. No, include your create teachers table, create table teachers, create table. This is already burgers DB. Okay, create. Any questions so far? No. Okay. Now there's also another code which is done in Sales.js. No, what is Sales.js? Sales.js is an extension. Now there are two very popular extensions, no, of Express. There are many, no, but the popular ones nowadays are Sales and Nests. No, Sales.js is like a direct competitor of Laravel. No, if you are a Laravel user and you want to migrate into JavaScript, no, the appropriate platform is Sales.js. No? But if you are an ASP.NET Core Windows, no, or rather Microsoft, no, user, developer, and you want to migrate to JavaScript, the nearest platform is Nest.js. Okay, for various reasons. No? So if you are a Laravel user, program developer, and you want to port, no, you use Sales.js. No, Sales.js is actually a platform on top. No, and to do this, I have created a script, no, or rather a section in our regular site. Okay, to be able to run the sample code in Sales.js. I forgot the author, but I think it's there, no? We covered a lot this semester, no? We're not able to cover all, but we could cover a lot, okay? Hindi talaga natin ito makover lahat, no? Expected, no? Okay. Hindi ko ba nalagay yung Sales.js na ano? Okay, but anyway, I think I have my notes here, no? You just have to install Sales in your npm. Let me look at that. Nandito sa aking ano. Okay. Okay. Ito yung dapat pagka-create, no, ng database doon sa sales.js. There's no ID. I'll post this in our regular site. But where's the sales.js? No? You just have to npm install, no? Sales.js. But anyway, you will know what to install because of package.json. Okay? Nandito, no? Okay? Let me do this from scratch, no? For your sake, let me do this from scratch, okay? Okay. It's here, no? Sales.js. Stuck here. Okay. And then let's open that, no? Close folder. File, open folder. Let's open that again. They follow. Now, in your package.json, you look at this, no? I think you can just reinstall everything by running npm install, no? You'll install the packages that are there. Okay. It will install the packages that are there in your sales, rather in your package.json. Okay. Medyo malaki yung iba, no? Okay. You just run npm install. It will install everything that is in your package.json. So it takes a while, no? Because the sales, I think there's so many, you know, in your so many modules that are ano. Let's take a look at that, no? Anong mga modules nandito? You have I'm not familiar. There's EJS, no? Extended JavaScript. Anyway, EJS is packaged with sales. Do you follow? So if you are using sales, it's a must that you learn EJS. No? We will discuss that shortly, no? Okay? Do you follow? So yun lang ang bad news dito. It's difficult to use with handlebars, okay? Mahirap siya, ano. Okay. And then I'm not sure where the sales.left, this is how you run it, no? Okay? Do you follow? And then views, no? So EJS, no? These are handlebars, okay? I'd rather not handlebars, but extended embedded JavaScript. We'll discuss that shortly, no? I cannot locate where the module is run is changed, no? But we can just run for example node what's the name, app.js. Okay, now sometimes there's an error, no? You just look at the error. For example, in this case, okay, sasabihin naman niya, no? I think this is an old version. MySQL is not installed. Sales MySQL is not installed. So therefore, we just install sales MySQL, no? So npm dash install sales ano yan? Sales dash MySQL dash save, no? Anyway, we'll just copy this. Sinabi naman niya, no? Okay. Okay. So sales MySQL, it's like Express for MySQL for Express. So remember that sales.js is the same engine as Express. No? Now, this was first introduced in 2012, but it released this first stable version just 2020, no? So very, very new, okay? So let's run the node. So may error pa rin tayo, no? So let's look at the error. The adapter sales MySQL is too new. So please try installing in any version which is before, okay? Before 1.0. So let's look at our package.json and let's look at the sales MySQL. Ang gusto niya na sales MySQL is anything lesser than 1.0. Actually, we'll just put this here lesser than 1.0. No? Okay. We'll save and then run npm install. We'll just reinstall it again. Okay. And then we'll run it again. Node app.js. I think there's one more error. No? Okay. So now the sales is up. Wala na palang error. So you know that you're running because you're now sailing. Okay. Do you follow? So it runs in port 1337. So let's look at that. No? So we can have IP address is 19 port 1337. So yes, 1337. Yes, that's correct. So that's how it is, no? That's how it's run. Okay, they follow. So there's a user, and there's already there's a left. Ang tawag dito? There's a sidebar. No, you can have the dashboard. And these are the categories. No, bakit wala? It's because we didn't have most probably we didn't have the database. Okay, do you follow? Okay. Okay, so most probably we didn't have the database for categories. Okay, so let me close this first and okay. So anyway, the configuration is here, I think, no. Nalimutan ko na kung saan niya nilagay yung connection to the database. Okay. Okay. Connection.js. Ito. Do you follow? Do you follow? So I'll change this. Localhost. Okay, anyway, let me open a file, a folder which has already the correct one. Okay. So nandito na, no, sa config connections.js. So nandito na. I have changed this to point to burger master with root 1, no, and burgers db. And then to create the database, you'll have to use this, no, itong file na ito. Mali itong nandito kasi, no, the one that's packaged like Aximes, ano, doesn't have this. Do you follow? Okay, you just run this anyway, no. So now this is the correct database. We can run it here. Okay. Okay, so the sailboat is there, so we're good to go. So we can test, no? We can test a web page from another another browser. Okay. Colon 1337. Okay, so nandito na, no? Categories. So it doesn't have a search, but you can try to have the search, no? So like it doesn't use Ajax, no? We'll create add new test 4 test 4, no? And then you click save. So hindi naka Ajax, no? If you do an edit, you can use this instead if you like, no? But it doesn't have a search, so you have to do a search. But the good thing about this, it has a dashboard and it has a left sidebar. Side menu, no? Do you follow? So you can go to categories, you will have that list, you can edit, okay, and then you can save. How about the delete? this is the thing that I don't like, no? Ganun lang ang sinabi niya. But there's a confirmation, but it's okay, no? But what you'd like to do is really just present the whole record before you do, ano? And then the delete is too crude. It's just a Java alert, no? No? Pwede na, pero it's not good for a professional web developer to do alerts in Java because we know a lot of JavaScripts, okay? Do you follow? Any questions? No? So I'll upload this and I'll give you an uploaded version like Radis code. Okay. So and the correct, okay, and the correct so anyway, I hope you know how to install, no? You just do run npm install, and in package.js, package.json, if it complains that the version is too soon, is too recent. For example, you want to install Sales MySQL lesser than 1.0, you just do this, okay? If it requires another, which requires us an older version, you can just type the version that you need here. You can even type 0.12 for Sales MySQL. That's the next version before 1.0. Okay? Any questions so far? Any questions? Okay, so can you manage your your PA, your last PA? I forgot where I got this, no, but this is a sales GS. I forgot to put it in our to put it in our Dagler site, but I look for the actual site, actual source, and then there's the correction, no. Ito yung correction, wala lang itong this, wala yung line na ito. Okay? Do you follow? I'll put it anyway, no, and then give you an updated version there. Okay? npm install. You just run npm install anyway. Huh? Okay. Any questions so far? So let me close this for the moment. Sino yung last dumating? Buok. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay. The next topic is EJS. Dito, I have created a site. What is EJS? EJS is an alternative to handlebars. It's also very popular. Do you follow? So when you develop JavaScript, the templating language you can have is either EJS. If you look at YouTube, no, it's either EJS or handlebars. Why so many? Why so many templating languages? In fact, in other platforms, sorry for the disturbance. In other platforms, no, there's only one templating language. Like in Laravel, the templating language used is Blade. In ASP.NET, the templating language used is Razor. In Django, there's a built-in language. No, do you follow? It didn't have a name, but it's part of Django, the templating language, which is part of Django, which is done in Python. It doesn't have a name because the syntax used is Python, pure Python. Okay, do you follow? Okay, may tutorial tayo, no? Okay. Okay. About Express.js. But to make a long story short, let us compare EJS and handlebars. Okay. Isa dyan. I have maybe it's in the previous section pa, no? Nandito, no? Handlebars versus and EJS. Okay, okay. Here's a comparison. This is handlebars is EJS. When you do an HTML injection in handlebars, you use a triple mustache. Do you follow? In EJS, this is the syntax for HTML injection. A percent, rather a lesser than sign, a percent, and a dash, and the body. or the name of the HTML, and terminated by an end tag like this, percent and greater than sign. Do you follow? In handlebars, when you inject a variable, you say double mustache, no? Because by the way, no, handlebars came from mustache. No? Title. Now, in EJS, when you inject a variable, you do this, no? Without the dash, no? The main difference between a dash and no dash is the dash injects an HTML. No? Now, if a partial, we discussed what a partial is, no? It's an HTML which you can put as a section in your, in your layout. So, meron kang header partial, footer partial, no? You can even have a nav bar as a partial, no? So, this is the partial injection in handlebars. Now, in EJS, when you inject a partial, it's just like injecting an HTML, but with an include statement, and which the include statement identifies the path to the partial. Okay, it is supposed to be header.ejs. If you do an if then else, no, in handlebars you say star if double mustache crosshatch hashtag if, no. Now in EJS you do this. Now the main advantage of EJS over handlebars is EJS is full JavaScript, which means that the if then else is JavaScript syntax. You can have a triple equals, you can have all the in handlebars you can only have if true. Okay, the if not true is unless, no. While in EJS, to do an if not, you say not equals. Do you get my point? I hope you're following, no? For an for loop in EJS, you rather in handlebars, you have double mustache hashtag each. In you have the syntax for the JavaScript for each. Do you follow? In EJS. Okay? Do you follow? Okay, let's try to make an example, no? In EJS. Okay. Anyway, I have my guide here. I'll show you the guide now. I'll post you the guide. Okay. First, you have to install EJS and body parts. Usually they come together, no? Instead of installing handlebars, you say install EJS. Ito, no? Okay. Do you follow? So let's do that here. Anyway, in my other computer. I hope we can catch up, no? I think we have enough time because we only have two more meetings left. Okay. Let's create a ano na ba tayong EJS? Wala pa. Okay. Is there an no? We'll rename this as sample one. Yes. Then we create a new project, npm init. That's why, no? That's why we'll yes everything. So okay. So we now have a package at JSON, and then we install EJS together with the other components. Of course, you have to install Express first, no? Yan. Okay. Okay. Do you follow? And now we need to create a server.EJS. Rather, a server.js. Okay, and in our we'll have the normal we have the normal requires and we require express, we require body parser course, and we require path. And then we declare an instance of express. Okay. Sorry. You follow? And then okay, we need to use body parser and path because we'll need to create a folder of views also This is normal This is just normal code. Tawag nila dito, this is a boilerplate code. Okay, what do you mean? Do you know what it means when somebody tells you that code is a boilerplate code? You know what a boilerplate is? The plate you use to serve steak. When something is served in the boilerplate, you just eat what is served there. You don't ask any questions. Okay. Okay. And then we set the views engine. Do you follow? So do we have a views folder? Okay, so we need to create a views folder here. And then in the views folder, we need to create an index. Index that not HTML, not handlebars, but EJS. So dito sa ating in here we can type a normal HTML. Hello to EJS. Okay. Do you follow? So that's it's just like handlebars. We have a folder called views and then we'll have our index there. But this time this is index.ejs. Okay? Do you follow? Let's go back to our and then you are setting the views folder using this. And then we set the engine to EJS. Now this time, remember before we use handlebars, HBS or handlebars. Now we specify we use EJS instead. Okay. And then we can have that app.listen in port 3000. Okay. Okay. Save. Then can we run this? Node server.js. Yes, it's running there, no? Anong sabi niya? There are middlewares. It's okay, no? Deprecated na daw, which means the version that I'm using is old. Okay, deprecated na, gi-blank na niya. Hindi mo na yata ito kailangan. Okay, let's maybe because it's already old when you do this, no? Let's do that again. Oh, nawala na yung wala, deprecated na daw ito, okay? So yeah, just comment out the deprecated lines. So anyway, we have that, no? Wala pa tayong ginawa, no? Okay, wala pa naman tayong ginawa, no? Now let's do the injection, okay? Ito yung pag-inject. Okay. So app.get. Okay. Gagawa na tayo ng okay. App.get. Here, we will have our first route, which is app.get. We will response that render index, which means this will render this. Okay. Tanggalin muna natin itong parameters. Okay. Ilang isa? Semicolon. Hindi na kailangan. Bakit kulang? Okay. Madali lang, no? May kulang. So that is the body. Ayan. Right. Select that res. Dapat dito meron. Okay. And then app.get. Okay. What's missing with this?
Sir, dalawa curly bracket mo, sir.
Dito? Dito ba?
Yes, sir. Hindi. I-delete mo, sir.
Isa pa. Ayan. Okay. Thank you. Sino to? Si Leonard? Is that you?
Yes po, sir.
Magaling ka na dito, no?
Ay, hindi po, sir. May experience ng prior.
Good, no? Anyway, it's good. If you can master, no? Authentication, authorization, and then you can use EJS, nests, and then sales. You could start a new career, no? Even if you're still a student. Okay, and this demands for a high-paying job, no? What is that? 192.168 at column 3000. Okay, anong sabi niya? Response is not defined. Bakit wala? We have express, no? Index. Okay. Hindi niya gi-call yung index, no? What's wrong with that error? Tingnan natin, no? Response is not defined. We had
Di
express.
po ba, sir, rest.render in this response.render?
Rest pala, so tama. That's very good, no? Response is not, no? Yeah, because I've just copied this, no? Yeah, sometimes you miss that point, no? So let's run this anyway. At port 3000. No default engine was specified and has no extended. No default. We had the default engine. Okay. Up that set. Okay. Is it views engine or view engine? Mukhang mali yata, no?
View engine, sir, without S.
Okay. So I have to change my Silenorias just went out again. Okay. Ayan, do you follow? So I have to change my file. Okay. View engine. Okay. So ayan, do you follow? Do you get my point? Let me explain the flow here before we no? So we have hello to EJS. We have index, which is which sends hello to EJS, and then we have our route, no, to the root, which just renders the index file. Do you follow? Do you get my point? So ganun lang kasimple, no? Okay. Now we have made a simple EJS site, no? A simple EJS website. Now you can pass a parameter to EJS. Okay. For example, a JSON parameter like we did before. No. Let me get my code for that. No. Tama talaga because in my succeeding notes, the syntax was already correct. No. Okay. Okay. We can pass a JSON file. For example, we can pass a JSON, a JSON variable. So what are we doing here? We are passing a JSON variable called chocolate. Do you follow? And the value of KitKat. Okay, so this is the variable name. This is the value. Okay, and it's passed to index. Okay. Okay. Now we can render that now using injection of a variable. How do we do injection of a variable? Equals pala, no? Mali yata yung aking original, ano? Injection of a variable. Did we have injection of a variable? Baka mali itong syntax ko, no? Baka may equals dito, no? Let me just correct that anyway. Do you follow? So dito sa index.js, we can change our, ano? We can change our HTML like this. Okay. You just change this. Equals, no? I think mali ang kanyang ano. Maybe there's no. Let's have this. Bakit ayaw niya ng ganun? Let me just run this anyway, no? Anyway, Google ko lang naman. Okay. Okay, and then where's my ano? It's somewhere in Chrome. Let's call the Chrome inside. Localhost colon 3000. I'm wondering bakit may ano, may red, something red there. Okay. So mali talaga yung ano, mali talaga yung injection, okay? Do you follow? Okay. Let me just Google that for a while. Oversimplify. Okay, let me just open a new Chrome. Say now over minimize, no? There it is. Variable injection. Hali yung syntax ko, no? In EJS. EJS in Express. Not EJS because no JS. There it is. No? That's the sample. And then our EJS file. This is the EJS file. Equals siya, no? Can we just use this anyway, no? Use this as our example. Okay. There's something wrong with my example. Index. Okay. Save all. And then in our index.js, okay, we'll use this. Okay. Nag-red siya eh. I'm not sure why. Nag-red siya. Which means there's something wrong with my, see. There's something wrong with my EJS. Ayan, okay na siya. Do you follow? Do you get my point? So I have to correct my ano no. The variable syntax is equal percent equals. Okay. I thought that this is an error, no? Yung pula. But it didn't appear to be one. So disregard the red one. No? I'm not sure why it's red. We still have time anyway. No need to hurry. So variable injection equals. You follow? Merong equals. Okay. Let me change that again to our ano. Bakit nagkagano, no? Chocolate. Cut. Need this. And then in our index, chocolate is. Yes. Chocolate. And then dapat kanina, no? Then we run it again. Check it here. Okay. Do you follow? So, bak kanina nagkamali, no? It's a slight mistake somewhere, no? So this is how we pass a variable, and this is how we injected the variable into our HTML code. Okay, I'll post this. I think I'm still correct, no? Okay, any questions so far? So halos pareho lang sila, di ba? EJS and handlebars. Now the next thing to do is the layout. Okay. Importante yung layout, no? What's the layout file? The layout file is the file which contains your main HTML. Okay? Okay. So, unlike handlebars, you will have to create a folder called under views, no? I'm not sure how did we create that. Anyway, no, it's in our no. But in EJS, you create your layout in the views folder. Okay? And you rename it as layout.ejs. You follow? That's the default. Okay? And then, by the way, no, if you are going to use a layout, you are going to install a module called Express EJS Layouts. Kailan mo install yan, no? Okay. npm install Express EJS Layout. I'll post this anyway, no? Kasi gumagamit na tayo ng layouts, and you should have a layout pool, ano? And then you will declare that, no? Using a var again, no? They follow in our server.js. Okay. You have to declare that again, no? Express layouts. Okay. Can we run that? Okay, so walang error, no? There's no error. Okay. Now let's write our our main layout, no? So the main layout is where our HTML is. Here it is. You follow? So may injection tayo na body. Take note that dash is our, okay, dash is our indicator for injection of HTML. Okay. Let me move this. Tama pa ba tayo? Where's the comparison? Dash, no? Okay. That's how you inject an HTML. Okay. That's our main layout file. Let's save this. And then in our server.js, you have to use after this, you'll have to use, I'm sorry, ito, layouts, express layouts. The layouts which you have declared above. It's just boilerplate, no? Again, boilerplate lang yan, no? Kailangan mong anuhin, okay? Okay. So can we have an about EJS? So we'll have H1. This is the about page. Then this is the index page. Okay, we'll remove it first, no? Tanggalin muna natin. We'll remove the variable which we have injected. So iba na ito ngayon, no? Okay. Let's run this. No? When you say render, the body will be rendered in the appropriate indicated location in our layout page. That's how it's supposed to run. Okay. Nandito na. So we have what did we use as the port? 3,000 pala. Let's use port 80 na lang, no? Para hindi na tayo we'll save the effort for typing the port number. Okay. Okay. When we use port 80, we don't have to write the port. Walang get, but because we didn't have a get, we'll have an about. Okay. This is the main layout line. No? Let's look at the layout. That's where it is, and where's the body? Bakit hindi nag-ano yung about? Because we have injected. Okay. We said render about. So it will render about that EJS. Okay. We can have we'll just render index. Okay. So up that get. Did we specify the main layout page? Parang hindi natin na-specify, no? I think we need to specify. render index. Okay. See. Okay. Index.ejs. Mali pa yung ating index. Bakit nagagano, no? Where's our render? May render yata tayo sa baba. Wala naman tayong ibang render. Why is it looking for chocolate? Maybe we just have to refresh. Do that again. 480. Or is it looking for? Okay.
Sir, di ba siya yung,
Baka hindi natin na-specify yung layout page.
di ba siya yung parang ganyan, sir, sa chat?
Yes, what? Sa chat, okay. Rest.render about layout. Ah, yeah. May layout ba tayo? Layout. Yes, you have to specify the layout. Index. Yeah. Mali nga yung pagka-call ng layout. Layout.ajs, no? Which means, yeah, that's correct, no? It's in my other notes, no? This specifies which page is going to be used as the layout page. Ang pinagtatakan ko, bakit hindi niya na-call yung index? Okay? Okay. Ang about, okay na yung about. Hinahanap pa rin niya yung chocolate. Ano? But it did not call the, ano? What happened to the about page? Dapat ma-render ito. Okay. This is the layout page.
Di ba dahil, sir, wala na save rin ang index ng about?
Ito na save all.
Hmm.
Save all ko lang. Okay. Okay. Okay, wala lang na save all, no? Do you follow? Do you follow? Now, we can copy our nav ano? We can now copy our nav from the previous ano? No? From the previous example in HBS. Galing ito sa HBS, no? So ito yung ating ano? Where's our header? Okay. Wala pa tayong parcels. We'll just introduce parcels yet first. Normally you can already put this in your ano? You can already put this in your main layout. Okay. Anyway, but you can introduce a header.ejs also to be your partial. Okay. 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 Okay, let me close my other ano muna, no? Wala lang na save all yung kanina, no? You just have to save all. So, partials. Okay, kasi sa handlebars, you can create partials. Ito, on the partials folder, under the views folder. And then you can in your you can install you can insert the partials in your individual web pages, in your individual handle HTML files. Okay. Sa EJS, how do we do that? We have how to insert a partial, di ba? Ito, do you follow? So we can include this, no? And then in the views folder, we can create the partials subfolder where we put our partials, okay? So anong pagkakaiba nila? It's the same thing, no? Do you follow? Kasi dito rin sa sa handlebars, you also create your partials under the partial subfolder under views. And then layouts din, di ba? They're almost the same. But the syntax is the main difference, no? Na natin ang views. Now, by the way, no, ang sa views, you have your layout here already. And then you specify the layout in the render. Okay? Now if you look at our HBS, the handlebars equivalent. Okay? Naka-default siya, do you follow? It has a layout folder, okay? And then if you look at our handlebars, okay? Naka-default, it has, how did we set the layout file here? Okay. Naka-default dito. Do you follow? This is how you set your default layout in handlebars. Okay, so you don't have to repeat the layout file in each of the routes. No, that's one of the main differences. In order to identify the layout file, you just have to identify it in this call. No, you identify the layouts dir and then the default layout, which is index.handlebars. Do you follow? No. So in EJS, okay, you need to create, okay, you need to specify your layout file in each of the calls like this here, no? They follow, so that you can use another layout actually, no? And then how do you create your partials? Okay. In the view, you also create a partial subfolder here, no? Ganon din, no? Dito. Partials. Partials, okay? And then let's create a header. Header.ejs. Okay, and then you'll say this is the header partial. Header partial, okay?
Sir, clarification ng sir ba sa PA4? Okay lang ba?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yung sa PA4, sir, basically ang gawin lang namin is parang yung gipa-download mo sa amin na file. Pero yun for tatlong tables ng data.
Yes, tatlong tables, no? Teachers, subjects, and
Pero lahat yan sila, sir, ma-display pa rin in one page.
Oh, kasi partials man yun.
Okay pa.
You follow? Let me just show you that after this, no? Anyway, wala na tayong oras, no? So, how do we do this, no? How do we insert the partial? Now, you can insert it anywhere, no? So, for example, we will insert it here in the index, no? So, pwede natin siya i-insert dito. Okay. To insert a part, to inject a partial, we say dash. No? So partials dot header. You follow? Okay. So let's run this. Sorry, no. Wrong. Okay. So pumasok siya dito, okay? Do you follow? And then we can have a footer partial. This is the footer partial. Okay. So we can put it in our about page. Tawag nga tayo sa index. And then in our about page, you can also include it in your main layout, no? Maka-inject ka dito. Footer. And then lagyan natin ng we can put the header before. Dito. Okay? Okay. Run it. And then yung index, we have a header partial. But in the about page, okay, so we have a header partial, we have an about page, and this is the footer partial. Okay? Do you follow? Any questions? There's a few more, no? Let me go back to that, to that issue on okay. Ito. Now, if you can do if you can do Ajax, no? Like Axime. Yung ginawa ni Axime, naka-Ajax. So you have user management here. Okay? You create the same CRUDs for subjects, teachers, and students. Okay? Leonard?
Yes pa, sir.
Ganito na. Ganyan. Naka-partial ito di ba? Naka main layout. So when you click this, in fact, when I click this, that's a home page. Do you follow? When you click this, no? Because these are views. So therefore, if you look at that, no, there's a partial for add user, delete user, and then there's a user view, show users. Okay. Handlebars ito, no? Do you follow? So for each, if you look at the each, no, handlebars. This is a view single user. Okay. Let's look at this, no? This is the delete user. Okay. Okay. So when you run, that's what you have. So you can do this. I'm giving you the code so you don't have to wonder. No? You can enrich the code by doing Ajax. So this is the page, the main page. Okay. You can decorate this in any way you like. So pag click mo dito, user management. If you click this will be subject management. CRUDs. Everyone. So ubos na yung oras natin. Sorry na. I'll upload this. We'll review this next meeting, okay?
Wala mangyari din, sir, pag i-press yung logout doon.
Wala pa. But if you want to put a login and logout, it's okay. That will be an additional bonus, no? Bonus yan, ha? Kasi I don't think we'll have time to discuss. But there's a video, no? You have to use a module called passport, no? And a module called sessions so that you can insert cookies kasi yung user IDs and then user variables are placed on the browser. Hindi pwedeng sa server, because the server variables are shared by all users. Do you follow? So dapat yung user variables nasa browser. And in order to do that, you will have to use session variables. Okay? Any questions? Okay. So walang logout ito, no? Blanco yung logout. Okay? You study the code and then you can do the rest. Okay? Bye everyone. I'm going to upload the codes and the recorded video. Bye everyone. I'm sorry for the late. Naubusan tayo ng oras. Okay? I'm sorry for the late ending.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.